The God of modern day Christianity. Where did he come from? Modern day Christianity, for the most part, believes in the destruction of the earth. They believe that we're living in the last days today, when our Bible clearly tells us that Jesus, speaking to his followers, told them that he would return within that generation. The Bible tells us that he had appeared on earth at the appointed time. He calls those who were the access to God for the people an evil and adulterous generation. Hebrews tells us that the one that is coming will come in a very, very short while, and he will not delay. But yet today's Christianity has him coming at least 2,000 years after making those statements. He told them that some of them standing there wouldn't die before he returned. He gave them a great commission to go out and preach this gospel to the whole world. And then he tells them that they will not have finished going through all the cities of Jerusalem until he returned. But they have another God that didn't keep these promises. It's going to come in our future. Their one and only true God is vengeful. He's created a place where he can burn people for eternity in pain and suffering, time on end, much like the god Moloch, who the Israelites would sacrifice their children to. Who is this God that modern day Christians worship as the one true God? The people that changed the word for grave to Hades, the name of the god of the Egyptian underworld, Hades. They believe in a place called hell. It comes from the Hellenistic culture that believed there was a place such as hell. These things didn't originate from the true original people that God chose as his. So who is this God that modern day Christians worship and threaten people with? Can they explain who he is? Can they explain their beliefs? Why they believe these things? That go totally against Scripture. When Jesus is walking to the cross and the ladies are crying, he says, "Don't weep for me, weep for you and your children." I've heard John Hagee change that to weep for your children and your children's children, to bring it on up into the modern day. Jesus is quoting from Isaiah about going to the mountains and letting the rocks fall on them to save them. That time had came. But according to modern day Christians, Jesus knew no more about what he was talking about than the next guy. And he said he would return within that generation with the glory of his angels, rewards for every man for what they had done. Those that pierced him would see him. Every eye would see him. When he's talking to Caiaphas, he tells him, the next time you see me, you'll see me sitting at the right hand of my Father. Christians, modern day Christians, for the majority, have him failing to do these things. They don't believe that he did it at the appointed time he said he would. So they stretch it out into our future. It's going to happen then. They didn't see him return, so he didn't return. It must be another Jesus they believe in. Another God, another Messiah. I think Christians should explain their belief systems. Explain away the almost 100-time verses in the New Testament that declare that Jesus would return within that generation, that the time was at hand, the time was short, the axe was at the root of the tree, it's a final hour, and on and on. To say that he did not come as he said he would, and that word coming means presence. I'm sure that the people living in that first century felt his presence at the destruction of Jerusalem. That was the judgment of God. It was a judgment coming on a nation that had totally changed the meaning of God. The same way that Christians today have changed the meaning of God. And they tell you, because you don't believe as they do, you will burn in hell for eternity. It's a scare tactic. Same way with the last days videos you see on here. Scare tactics to make you believe in the God they believe in. Who is this God they believe in? It's not the God that I worship in spirit and in truth. It's a God they have followed from their ancestors, from their traditions. Didn't come from the first century. Didn't come from the teachings of the Bible, the teachings of Jesus. Watch out for this God they promote. And talk so kindly to you, while all the while in their mind thinking that you will burn for eternity. They make statements like they can't wait to see the American economy fall. They make statements like they can't wait to see the Third World War, because they think that this will bring on their Messiah. It will bring on death and destruction, pain and suffering, and they can't wait till it happens. Who are these modern day Christians? Where did they get their beliefs? Peace, love, justice, understanding, music,